Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sugarheads Live. And my name is Sugar. And I have sugarheadsclothing.com. I have Sugarheads Financial, where I can show you how to save money and earn money. Great interest rates. Right now it's 5.0%. Everybody else is giving 0.001%. I'm getting you a whole 5% guaranteed. So, today's topic, when God came into my life. I'd like to thank everybody who became a subscriber. I would like to thank all my members and my followers. I'm taping on Sugarheads too. I have Sugarheads, and on Facebook I have Sugarheads and Sugarheads with an S, a Z with an S. So, yeah. From the time I was a little girl, I was living with my grandmother, and by the age of 4, I started noticing that we go to church a lot, and we did a lot of rituals, and meaning we would pray to God, and we had certain days that we would do certain things, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday we go to church, and that was, our life, and that was my life as a young person. So that was my life as a young person, a young child. As I grew up, it's the same thing. Then we started feeding the poor. I mean, they probably was doing it at the time, but I can't remember. We started feeding the poor, and we wasn't well off. We was a middle class family. It was me, all my cousins, my grandfather, and my grandmother. And of course, in the West Indies, the parents leave the children with the grandparents or someone responsible to take care of the children. And they go off to whatever country that they want to live in to make a better life. They start off and then they send for their children or loved ones and bring them back up. Typical any other, resident alien. Everybody's the, everybody's the same concept. But while I was in Trinidad, as a child, we prayed a lot, and like I said, we did a lot of things. We was bi-religious. We was Catholics because Trinidad is a very heavy religious country, majority Catholics, and we was Catholics, and then practiced um, Baptist. Sorry. Now there was two kind of Baptists. There was Anglican Baptist, and then there was the Shango Baptist. And the Shango Baptist was not really my family thing because their rituals were a little bit more intense, and it dealt with different kind of religious that we just wasn't into, like sacrificing certain stuff and whatever. We wasn't into that. But so the Baptist that we was into was a mixture of um, Catholic and Christianity. That's the middle ground for us. And my grandmother used to feed the poor, and she used to feed the people. And like I said, we was not as well off. We was just middle class. My grandfather was working. My grandmother used to work, but then my grandfather made a good living to support us. So there was a need for a mom to be in the house, so he decided to take on taking care of us, and my grandmother would take care of the home. And that's what happened. I grew up with a grandfather that was working and a grandmother that stayed at home, and she did work at home, iron clothes, wash clothes, things like that. Or sometimes once a week, she would go clean someone's house. or what have you, just to, I guess, get out the house or whatever. Or she would cook, and someone would ask her to cook for whatever function they had, and they would come and give her whatever, and sometimes she would sew. So she did a lot of things just to earn um, whatever little she was getting to help with the family and to help with the finance. She was a great woman. She taught me so much. She taught me everything I know, and she is the main reason why I have, I think, a great heart, because she taught me patience and she taught me forgiveness. You know, but sometimes that I think that's a fault of mine, because I'm too forgiving sometimes. I'm too kind of laid back. I'm too always looking for the best in people, but sometimes the best is what you see of people. And a lot of times when you're that way, people think you're stupid and they try to take advantage of you. And that's when the evil part comes out, so to speak, because you're trying to be nice, but then people think that you're stupid, and they take your kindness for your weakness, as the saying goes, and it annoys you, and it annoyed me, and I'm like, what? You never used to people being nice to you? So even when someone is nice to you, you're mean to them. You understand? So I couldn't understand that I'm being nice to people, but people think I'm stupid just because I'm nice. You understand? And that's the problem that me and someone have, because they're so nice and people just think he's stupid, and he's not. He's really not. He's very smart. So anyway, my grandmother used to teach me everything about the Bible. And when I had to go to church, we had to know certain verses and um, what have you. As I got older and I came to this country, I got more into it because my mother took on the role where my grandmother left off. She got really religious because, my mom, she was a young mom when she had me, and she tried her best. And even though we didn't have the best relationship, people always get that wrong. I didn't blame my mom for not being with me, because my mom did the best that she can. Even when she gave me to my grandmother, she used to take care of me every week. Every week when she get paid, my cousin and I would go pick up her money that she had, and she would give it to my grandmother. So my mother used to take care of me, even though I wasn't living with her. And my father was in the States, you understand? But she was a good mom when I was little. So I never knew what went wrong between our relationship, you know. But she tried her best. She was a teenage mom when she had me, and the best thing she can do, and I'm happy she did, is give me to her mother. I'm glad she didn't give me to my father's mother, because my father's mother is very mean, and we really didn't get along. But my grandmother was very religious, and she said she was very religious because God did a lot for her. God, with her children, with her grandchildren, with her husband, he always kept food on the table, and the little things in life. She always tell me the little things in life. She never tell me anything grand that he gave her $1 million. No, it was always regular thing that people would say, well, you're supposed to have that. No, sometimes a lot of people don't have certain things like food or whatever, because a lot of people used to come to my grandmother sometimes when they didn't have anything. And mind you, our family was big, but she still shared. Whatever little she had, she shared. Anybody who was hungry, anybody who didn't have anything, she would share with that person. And I guess that's why she grew up with a lot of people, loving her, because everybody loved my grandmother. Well, people who wasn't jealous, but because she had great taste. But this is not about my grandmother per se. It's about her teaching me religion. And she told me, and she taught me how to be grateful for the little things God did for me and people do for me, as opposed to always thinking that doing big things is what I needed. Sometimes you need the little things. So that's how I learned to appreciate the little things that was done for me by people, by God, by friends, by family. I appreciated the little things that was done because sometimes it's the little things that you need is not done. And in my life, I started growing up, and that's how I started thinking with a guy that guys that I've dated. You know, I didn't look for the big grandeur stuff you did for me or by me. I look for the little things he did for me because that meant he's listening to the stuff I like. He's looking to see what I need. So all the regular stuff, the big stuff, if he buys me that stuff, I'm not saying that it wasn't important. I'm just saying that to me, he wasn't paying attention to what I really wanted and what I really needed. So I grew up with that. I remember when I met my son's father because I grew up, you know, in a religious home. My mother was very strict, and so was my grandmother. I couldn't go hang out as a teenager. Even at 15 or 16, I couldn't do a lot of things um, my other friends was doing. And I used to be upset because my friends, they be going out by themselves. They be going to the movies. They be having boyfriends. And I couldn't, and then, the whole saying what your parents tell you, well, you want to do all those things, you live with those parents, but in this house, this is what you do. So that's how I grew up and what I heard from my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother told me never be jealous of anyone of anything because you never know what they did to get it. And to this day, I live by that word, and it's so true because you see a lot of things on TV, you see a lot of things on social media, and you think, oh my God, I want that, for the most part, but you don't know what it took to get there, or you don't know what it took for a person to get that, whatever that is, you know? And that's the problem I have with a lot of people who don't know me. I like my mother, was a single mom, and I grew up by myself. Not by myself, but with my mom and whatever. And I moved out as a young child because my mom said there cannot be two bulls in a pen. And we was just starting to butt heads a lot. So, when I had my son, I left to start my life. And I left him with my mom until I can find um, a place to live. The first place I lived, it was a room. Second place I lived was a basement apartment. But in the meantime, when I met my son's dad, I met his mom. And his mom and his whole family is very much into the church, like my family. So that's the similarities him and I had. Our families was heavily into the church, but his family was devout. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh, devout, okay, maybe it's another American terminology, but devout means you have to follow the Bible to the strictest as you can. You understand? No skirts, no makeup, no sex before marriage, no drinking, no alcohol, no smoking, none of that. You understand? And I'm like, okay, I think I can do that because I was still young, and like I said, I started dating late, and I said okay. But the day I got saved, um, it was kind of a forced thing because every time I go to church, because every Sunday, um, the family would go to church. Everybody would come from all over, upstate or whatever. I mean, they would travel hours just to get to Brooklyn to go to church or whatever. And I thought that was very admirable. I'm like, they really love the church. They really love God or whatever. So finally, every Sunday she used to nudge me, go up there, go up there, go up there. And I'm like, no, no, no. But she's very intimidating. She is, his mother is so persuasive, and, I didn't want to say no too many times. I'm like, what is it going to hurt? So finally I went up there and they dipped me in the pool because they had a pool for baptism in the church. And I dipped in the pool, and then they took me in a room to learn how to speak in tongues. You know. So as a young Christian, and I just got baptized. I was baptized before with the Baptist church, my mom's side, but and the Catholic church. But this is his mom. But I was really excited. I was really excited because at that point I said I wanted to be a nun. I mean, I wanted to be a lot of things, but I wanted to be a nun because I love God so much. He did so much for me. I was supposed to die so many times, and I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to go through that. I was supposed to die so many times, and he saved my life. And out of nowhere, his arms just always come and save me just at the right time. And I was supposed to be sick. I was supposed to be all kinds of stuff, growing up. But he always took me out of it. So when I did get saved for the last time, I was excited. I mean, I carried my Bible everywhere. I put it on my desk at work so I can read it at lunch. But then this guy got offended. This gay guy got offended. I didn't know he was gay. And really, I didn't care or whatever. I was just excited in the Word of God. And everybody else did it. They put stuff on their desk or whatever. So I would just read it on my lunch break. I wouldn't read it when I'm working. I would open it up when I'm having lunch because sometimes I would eat at my desk and read my Bible because as a young Christian, you have to learn, not have to, but, you want to learn your verses. You want to know the Bible. You want to read the Bible. You want to learn God. You want to learn the good things of him, and you want to know how he came about. This guy got offended and, made a big fuss about me having a Bible on the desk. But anyway, long story short, I put it away in the desk. So I just started getting into it deeper and deeper. Then I had a friend in my building where I lived at, and when I was younger, before I left my mom, she introduced me to one of the biggest church in Brooklyn. But at that time, he wasn't the biggest church. He was in a school, and he taught, and they was enthralled with him. They told me he's great. I should come. So every Sunday I would go. So I'm looking for dresses and stuff. She said, no, you can come as you are. You can put on some pants, whatever the case may be, and just come, So, of course, you're clean and whatever. And my mother looked at me, where you going? My mother used to be like, you're not going to church. Who wears pants to church? And I'm like, well, Ma, it's a new church or whatever. So she said, put on a skirt. So because my mom, I put on a skirt and my friends would wear jeans and whatever. So I'm like, okay, put on a skirt, put on a dress, whatever. I went and I did enjoy the church. And I went to that church over 20 years. Because I was going back and forth from my son's mother's church to this now mega church. Like I said, when I started, he just was in an office. Then he moved into the school. Then after the school, he moved into a small church. Then after the small church, he moved into the mega church that it is right now. So, I just was so excited. So, of course, I was going to church all the time, whichever one I felt like at the time. But at that time, me and my son's father broke up, so I started going to the mega church. And you know. But the one thing that attracted me to go to the church was um the choir. I don't know what it was about the choir, but I would just break down. I don't know what it is about the songs they picked. It's just that I was so grateful. And every time a song comes on and it reminds me of anything I went through, I would just cry. I couldn't stop crying. Not because I'm sad. It's because I was so happy. God pulled me from wherever He pulled me, and the songs just reminded me. And I love music, so that's one of the other reasons I would get so sensitive. Up to this day, I'll be so sensitive about when I hear the songs. I would just totally break down, totally break down. I'll be there, and I'm looking for tissue and tears rolling out my eyes. Because I came a long way. He did so much for me. And, he always reminded me to stay humble. And I try, I really do. But like I said, a lot of people just think you're stupid, and a lot of people just take advantage of Christians. But in the Bible, it tells you take care of yourself. And in the Bible, it's also say you don't have to wait on Him. First of all, you have to show others how to treat you. And second of all, you have to defend yourself, because He's out there doing His work. He's out there helping other Christians. So you can't, as a Christian, you can't wait till God pulls you out at the last minute. You have to help yourself along the way. And then when He see that you really need His help, He would come. He always comes. But you can't sit there and wait and hope and pray and do that. You can't. You can't. You have to show Him that you learned something from His words. You have to show Him that you can defend yourself. You have to show Him that you can fight for yourself. He's there watching you, but He wants you to defend yourself. He wants you to fight for yourself. And I'm not saying sometimes you have to stoop to anyone's level or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you do, because sometimes that's the only thing a lot of people understand. But as Christians, you that's the last resource that you usually go to, stooping to someone's level. You understand? You still have hope that the person will change, but sometimes that person is not going to change. You understand? You just think you're stupid. But God helps those who help themselves. Yeah. So don't sit there saying, I'm going to wait on God, wait on God. No. You can't wait on God. You read the Bible. He said help yourself, and then He would help you. Because He's busy helping other people. He's watching over you. So you can't just wait for things to happen. You have to make things happen. You have to put yourself in certain situations. You have to find a way to get out certain situations on your own as a Christian. You do. You have to learn how to defend yourself, and you have to learn how to fight as Christians. Because a lot of people depend on us being meek and mild and not do anything and get beat up all the time. A lot of people depend on your religion. So you have to read the other part, where you have to know how to defend yourself, how to use your wits about you, how to bring up your street knowledge. You can't always, my mother always told me, you can't always be book smart. You got to be street smart also. She always told me that. She said you can't have all that book smart and don't know how to control the streets. And she's correct. You have to know how to do both. You have to be street smart and book smart in order to know how to defend yourself, because there's a lot of animals out there. It's a lot of crazy people. It's a lot of wicked, mean people. And you have to know how to defend yourself. But every time I go to church, I just bawl out. I just cry. Because I remember all the good things He's done for me. And still is doing for me. You understand? And he shows you the way. It's just sometimes the way may be long for you. He shows you the way. Some people, some people wants to take the easy way out of everything, but the easy way out, that end result is not too good. It's easy up front, but at the end, it's really hard. But when you take the long route and you get to the end, or you get close to the end, there's no hidden agendas, because you done walk through everything you're supposed to walk through already. There's no hidden agendas when you take the route that he shows you. So you have to know what you really want as a Christian or as a person. You have to know what you really want. Everything is not easy. A lot of things is not easy. So don't think everything is a shiny penny. It's not. Don't look at other people and see and envy them because you think they have an easy life. No. Even the richest person on this face of the earth does not have an easy life. Why? Because he has a lot of employees that he has to worry about, that depends on him or her for their life and lifestyle, to take care of their children and their family. So even the person who hires a lot of people, who's rich or whatever, they have burdens also. So, that's why sometimes I tell people to take your job seriously, because you may think that you're getting over, but you're not. You're trying to ruin a lot of people's jobs. Because eventually all that stealing and all that stuff is going to catch up, where the accountant look and say, this is missing, that's missing, that wasn't done right, that wasn't done right. A lot of people got to lay off. So your greed is going to cause the downfall of a lot of companies. You don't care. You think you could get another job, then it goes into the recession. And then all your friends and family start losing their jobs. Because one company may be connected to another company, and so on and so forth. So if you're not happy at your job, just leave it. Don't go stealing. Don't be envious of a lot of CEOs or a lot of owners, and don't be envious of that, because sometimes you wouldn't sacrifice like that person. You think it was easy because you only see the end result, but you didn't see that person starting off in a garage, starting off eating ramen noodles all the time, starting off barely eating, nowhere to sleep, sleeping from friend to friend to friend. Now they succeeding, but you didn't see all that because you don't want to see it. So you think the owner of the company is selfish, but yesterday you come in late every day. You think the owner of the company is selfish, so you're going to steal, but you just give the bare minimum. And then when somebody else get promoted, you get upset because you're giving the bare minimum. You're not bringing anything to the company. You're taking out of the company. You're not bringing anything into it. You're taking it out. And then you're abusing it because you're doing a lot of things wrong. But you don't see that. All you see is them supposedly on vacation or relax. Oh, I do all this work and he's spending all his money. Yeah, but he wasn't there at the beginning when the grind really had to start. Yeah, because if he or she didn't sacrifice, you wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't have a job. So anyway, so God made me appreciate a lot of things in my life. It made me appreciate my family. It made me appreciate my grandmother. It made me appreciate my job or whatever came to it or out of it. It made me appreciate being a mom. It made me appreciate a lot of things. And me having God in my life has done wonders for me. And it's helped me a lot. I don't know about anybody else, but it helped me. So you choose the path that you want to go to, but just try to be the best person that you can be. Just try to be a good person. That's all he asks. Be a good person. Treat people like how you want people to treat you. Don't treat people bad and don't expect something to happen to you. You may think it's not going to, but it is. And if it don't happen to you, it's going to happen to your offsprings. It's going to happen to your offsprings, your grandchildren, somebody down the road. So maybe you don't care now, but you're setting your future offspring up. Whether you're gonna pay for it, your children gonna pay for it, or your grandchildren. But somebody, somebody between your children and your grandchildren is gonna pay for it. But you may not think so. So even if you can't stand somebody, don't go out your way to make their life miserable. Leave them alone. And that's why I tell some of my neighbor, I'm like, I get up, I don't think about you. Is when I open my computer, or I get up, or I hear something outside, or I hear creaking, whatever the case may be, then I open up whatever and I see what's going on or what's transpiring. And that's what starts the day. But I don't intentionally get up looking for trouble or looking for problems. I don't. So I don't think of people or doing anything to people when I'm in my bed or sleeping. I'm laughing, watching movie, whatever. But when you go into stuff you're not supposed to go into and do stuff you're not supposed to do, then the ball starts rolling. So then you tell people it's obsessive of me. I'm just, trying to fix what you try to take or whatever. But God has been very, very good to me. A lot of people see the end result, me having a nice home, a nice car, nice clothes, whatever, and they think, oh, she had it easy. No, I didn't. I went through trials and tribulations like everybody else, but I've always prayed to God, and He always showed me the way and took me out of a lot of things. And so I'm grateful. So when God came into my life, He made it a better place. And I just want to thank Him so much for always being there for me. And yes, I speak my mind and I use profanity sometimes or whatever, but it's better than doing things that a lot of people would do. You understand? But sometimes profanity come out because you're so upset and you can't believe the audacity of some people, that the things that they would do. And that they don't see what they do, or they know what they do but they think it's funny. And they think it's a championship flag on their shoulders to humiliate you and degrade you. But their thing is coming too. They may not believe it, but it is. Their day is coming too. And they setting the path for their children and grandchildren. Because no way in hell you can be so mean and God is just going to leave you like that. He's going to send you to his brother, the devil. And let his brother deal with you. You understand? So, in no way in hell, he's going to give you to his brother. And when you ask his brother something, he wants to be paid. When he gives you something, he expects something back. With God, no. As long as you listen to him, he don't want nothing from you. All he wants is obedience. But his brother, the devil, he expects something from you. So you acting bad and doing all the crazy stuff that you do, stealing people's money, doing people's taxes, and stealing their shit, and the other day I was doing Cash App and all that stuff that you do. You think you're gonna get away with it? No, you're gonna burn in hell. Your children gonna burn in hell. Your family gonna burn in hell. You're not going to get away with stuff like that. You think you are. You're not. You're not. You're laying the ground for your children to be homeless, to amount to nothing in life, and to be the kind of adult that nobody wants to be around. Because they're going to judge you on the parents. Because you don't know who's out there. One of your supposed to be jobs that your children may want may be a friend of the person that you tortured. And they're going to be like, no, I'm not hiring you. Because I heard your parent was raising you to do exactly what they was doing, which is lie, rob, and steal. So I'm not going to take a chance on you. So your parents is your resume. And if your parents doing a lot of crazy stuff and you was doing it with your parents, that's your resume right there, because you don't know who knows who around here. You know, you may think you have a big organization, um, because you want to threaten people or whatever the case may be, but you really don't. You really don't. When you sit down and you think about it, it's just a family going from family member to family member to make it look big. You know, and then if somebody sit down and break it down, they'll break down your family member and go after each one of your family member till all of them disappear or something happened to them. But when people see them coming, they're not going to get a decent job, no matter what education they got, if they can get into a good school or if they can get into school, period. And a lot of cultures put a heavy thing on education. They put a lot of thing on education. And if you can't get the right education, you're not gonna get the right jobs. And that's what you're lining yourself up for. So, but anyway, God has been good to me, and I just wanted you guys to know that. And if I had anybody here, I would ask questions, but nobody's here right now. You can ask questions in after you see the video. So I just want to say thank you for being a member. Thank you for watching my video. And this is Sugarhead signing off. And you have a great day. Enjoy it. Say a prayer. And thank God for everything that you do have, because there's a lot of people out there that does not have the same as you. So please be grateful. And I love you. Well, I like you. Stay good and come back tomorrow. If there's anything you need, if you need consultation, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you. You understand? Because having someone to talk to sometimes can mean a lot. And if there's anything you need, just please, and you think I can do it for you, please let me know. For all you young people out there, keep striving, reaching to the top. Have a great day.